now. Yeah, we're starting. I think they know. I was gonna go get it. So, hello and welcome. My name is Jacob Williamson. I will be the moderator tonight. I am joined by Mr. Henry Molinax, who will be our timekeeper. I want to thank the Calhoun County Area Chamber and Visitor Center and the Chamber's Public Affairs Committee for organizing this event on behalf of the voting constituents of the city of Jacksonville. Also want to thank the Jacksonville Municipal Court, Police Department, and Fire Department for hosting us here at the Public Safety Complex. I want to thank each of you in attendance and watching online for taking the time to review the candidates. Audience and candidates, we ask that you please put all electronic devices on silent or airplane mode. Please remain quiet in consideration of your fellow attendees and the candidates who have given their time to be here tonight. I will now go over the format of tonight's event. So before the event, numbers were drawn to determine the speaking order within each place on the ballot. Once each candidate's name is called, they will step up to the podium and deliver their message to the voters. Once that candidate has finished speaking, we will thank them for their time and move on to the next candidate. That candidate will speak and the process will repeat until all candidates have spoken. Candidates have 3 minutes to speak and will be given a signal when they have 30 seconds remaining. The timer will start when a candidate begins speaking. Upon expiration of their time, a signal for stop will be provided and the moderator will allow you to finish your sentence. If necessary, the moderator will interrupt you nicely, thank you for your statement, and then immediately move on to the next candidate. After all of the council candidates have spoken, we will take a few minutes to transition to the mayoral candidate portion of the forum. Finally, we ask that the audience please hold comments and applause until the end of the event out of courtesy and consideration to all of the attendees and candidates here. All of the candidates have sacrificed their time and money to serve the public, and they all have loved ones and supporters in the audience. We just ask that everyone be courteous and respectful throughout the event. And with that, we will begin. So, our first candidate tonight for place 2 will be Mr. Terry Wilson.
Don't start the clock yet. Let me thank you tonight for coming out and giving me the opportunity to share my vision for Jacksonville. If we haven't met, I'm Terry Wilson. I'm seeking re-election for place 2 on the council. If our situations were changed, there'd be 3 questions I'd ask you. So tonight, I'm going to answer 3 questions about me that you'd want to know. The question 1, who are you behind your name and what you do personally believe? I'm running for re-election because I believe in the future of Jacksonville. This town wants to continue my commitment to serve Jacksonville. I feel service about not thinking of oneself, but thinking about you, the citizens of Jacksonville. Behind my name, I'm a man of faith. I've been married to my wife, Becky, for 51 years, and together we have 2 children, 5 grandchildren. This community is part of who I am, and I've always tried to give back to Jacksonville. I've always heard that home is where your heart is. Well, I love Jacksonville, and I'm home. The second question you're going to ask is, how have you helped Jacksonville to be better? From business, I learned a long time ago the value of working together, building relationships, and making smart, forward-thinking decisions. And I want to keep using these strengths for Jacksonville. Since joining the council, my focus has been on teamwork, responsible spending, and practical solutions. Our accomplishments have been numerous. Here for a few of those. I can't list all of them, don't have enough time. The council has worked with a minimum of 5 different hospitals to get us freestanding ER, and we're still working towards this much needed facility. To help our outstanding police, fire, and EMS, we've got new police cars, a fire truck, another ambulance. Those things were bought to provide you and your family safety. Sidewalks around our schools have helped increase the pedestrian safety and walkability. You've seen all the national change as well as local businesses that have been on the square and around town. We offer support to our school system with academic, technical, and vocational scholarships. And these are just a few, and I could go on and on. The third question, you'd say, what are your goals for the future? My future goal is to continue the progress that I want to build on what we've already laid and where we're going. And that is with the freestanding ER. That is something that has been a priority and has been a top priority So I need to set that straight right now. It has been and will be a top priority. We've got a corporation moving in that will probably create 150 new jobs, along with their I've got to stop. So after this is over, please see me and I'll give you the last 7 items. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. I want to note that our other candidate for place 2 is not here tonight. He was unable
And
to.
I don't get his 3 minutes.
Unfortunately, all the candidates for place 2. Starting with candidates for place 3, we will begin with Mr. James Newell.
Well, good afternoon. I'm glad everybody's here. Just a few words about myself. I am James Newell. I am a candidate for place 2 for your Jacksonville City Council. I've been happily married, place 3, excuse me. My wife's corrected me. I don't even know what I'm running for, apparently. But my wife and I have been happily married for 49 years. We have 2 sons, 6 grandchildren, 3 of which are girls and 3 of which are boys. We believe in equal division there. But I grew up in Jacksonville, having attended Jacksonville Elementary School, now known as Kitty Stone. And I tell everybody, I'm telling my age when I say this, but Kitty Stone was my principal when I was there. So, you know, if you can do the math there, you can figure out how old I am. But I did also graduate from Jacksonville High School and Jacksonville State University with my BS. And additionally, I earned a master's degree from East Tennessee State University. But I worked in the manufacturing sector for about 48 years. During this time, I was responsible for managing departments of up to 40 people, and I managed multi-million-dollar budgets during that period of time. I worked in the sectors of with military subcontractors, but also worked in the automotive sector for quite a while. But I worked with some of the largest defense contractors in the country, and I worked with one of the largest automotive suppliers in the world. And these assignments allowed me to learn how to negotiate difficult situations that, when successful, allowed our organization to become more profitable and competitive in the market. My platform, I would pledge to continue to work with the balance of the council to address concerns related to the need for an emergency room here in the city. To discuss what can be done to improve this or address this need. I would pledge to communicate across the city to assess perceived listening or needs to be addressed by the city. Establish listening posts, for example, to determine what your needs are, what you perceive your needs to be, and how we can address those needs. I would be as accessible and accountable to the citizens. The key word there for me is accountable. Accountability is something I think that needs to be of the utmost importance. But I'm retired. I'd be easily accessible to most people or anybody whenever they desired. But I pledge also to support community improvement projects, specifically the work that's going on in the Eastwood community there. They're doing a lot of good work, and I frankly think that would be a model for the rest of the city, the county, the state, and maybe even the nation. But I would pledge to work with the council to continue to assess and identify improvements in pedestrian safety within the city as well. Why I think I'm qualified. I know the city well. I grew up here. I have the business experience required to assess and respond to needs in a timely and responsible manner. I'm action-oriented. I'm not afraid of a challenge. I want to be part of the city, taking the city forward. I have the ability to reach consensus and work with county, state, and federal entities. And finally, I love the city. It's been home to me for most of my life, and I intend to live here.
Thank you, Mr.
Until the day I depart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next candidate is Mr. Jimmy Harold.
Good evening. My name is Jimmy Harrell, and I'm excited to stand before you tonight as a candidate for Jacksonville City Council in place 3. It was the honor of a lifetime to serve on this council previously, and I'm proud of the improvements that we were able to accomplish together. During my time, our hard work made a positive impact on the lives of the residents, and I would like to highlight a few of those accomplishments. We successfully lowered employee family coverage health insurance from $450 a month to just $250, freeing up valuable resources for families and our community and making the city of Jacksonville a highly desirable place to work. We also took the initiative to write and pass the city's current animal control ordinance, ensuring our community reflects compassion and the respect for all living things. I'll just skip over some of this to make my time. We researched and presented crucial upgrades to our city's crosswalks to enhance walkability and pedestrian safety. Following the devastating tornado of 2018, we worked closely with Alabama Power to upgrade our outdated lighting to LED, improving safety and energy efficiency throughout the city. We embraced a conservative approach to our city finances, leading to a balanced budget without increasing taxes, a move we can all appreciate in today's climate. If given the opportunity to serve again, I have clear priorities that I think will make our city better. I will firmly protect our zoning laws and restrictions to maintain the safety and family-oriented nature of our neighborhoods. I'm committed to prioritizing the establishment of the standalone emergency room by collaborating with our state leaders to obtain that certificate of need for this essential service. Moreover, I will maintain accountability and transparency in our governmental process. Our responsibility is to keep you, the citizens, informed and engaged. Together, we will take strategic approach to growth management, ensuring that our infrastructure can accommodate the expansion while preserving what makes Jacksonville special, which is you, the people. I will work diligently to protect our walkable downtown, scenic neighborhoods, and family-friendly environment. I'll be accountable for every single tax dollar spent. I believe in living within our means, prioritizing essential services, and fostering transparency in our financial practices. We should actively pursue federal and state grants to help ease the city's financial burden for improving Jacksonville's infrastructure and public safety. Now, my vision is not to change Jacksonville from its essence, it's to protect it from what we all love, or for what we all love, and while proactively preparing for the future. And if I'm elected, I will join the dedicated team of the city council members and a new mayor to achieve the shared goals of Jacksonville, and I will bring a common sense approach to leadership, focusing on results that benefit all citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to both of our candidates for place 3. We'll move on now to our candidates for place 5, starting with Mr. Torsten Dryden.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. There we go. Thank you so much for coming out this evening. My name is Torsten Dryden. I'm a lifelong resident of Jacksonville, Alabama. I grew up with many of your children and grandchildren, and attended school at all of the schools, or most of the schools that Jacksonville has to offer. I'm a small business owner here in town, working as a professional counselor, collaborating with others to help get them to where they would like to be. At one point, I decided to give back to the university that gave me the opportunity to do that, and now I train counselors and school counselors at the local university, Jack State. I have a strong belief in community engagement and philanthropy, and I would like to extend a warm thank you to our current council and our current mayor for the good work that they're doing and continue to do. I would like to continue to give back along with them and continue the hard work that they have started. The welfare and well-being of our citizens is of the utmost importance. Having resources like an excellent law enforcement team, which we have, and fire department, which we have, continuing to grow that along with our education and along with other elements like healthcare facilities. You all need access to healthcare, right? Want to go down the street? So as we continue to work towards that, I believe that there's ample opportunity for us to give back to the community in that sense. I believe in diversifying industry. Bring in industry that can create dynamic jobs for people, that can give benefits to people, that will in turn bring tax dollars to the town to be able to give back to the community. This is important and imperative to our community as we continue to grow. With that progress, I also believe in keeping our small town feeling. We like progress, but we also don't want to destroy what makes Jacksonville important as the gem of the hills. And so with that being said, I'm running for place 5 on the city council in order to give back and bring us all together and maintain and continue the transparency that is apparent with the council right now, and be able to work as part of that team. There are ample opportunities to be able to bring in additional dollars through grants and ways to create and further community partnerships with large industry in towns such as Jack State, and continue to bring in additional industry. And so with that being said, thank you so much for coming tonight. And remember to vote Torsten Dryden for place 5 of the City Council. And let's move Jacksonville forward together. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Dryden. Our next candidate for place 5 is Mr. Marcus Green.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you guys for coming out, taking time out of your busy schedule this Thursday night to come and figure out who and what are you going to do as far as with your vote on August 26th. My name is Marcus Green, and here back in March this year, I was appointed to City Council Place 5, and since then, I have been locked in with the current council and the mayor. We've been through training, learning about how other municipalities are operating, learning about how we can improve ourselves, how we can take our small town feel. We have the great college, and we have how we can get there together. And we have currently done and currently doing great things right now. But kind of want to tell you guys a little bit about myself. So my name is Marcus, and everybody in this crowd know me. If you don't know me, you will get to know me. And I've been trying my best in this Alabama heat, knocking on doors and talking with everyone. And so through my profession over 20 years, I've talked with higher ranking officials during the day, giving briefings to high level officials and, brigadier generals, that's the same thing. Brigadier generals, lieutenant colonel generals, and letting them know, hey, this analysis that we've done, sir, this is what we got going on. But then also in the afternoon, over the past couple of years, I've been teaching kids and coaching kids, how to make a tissue dance. And you know how you make a tissue dance? Put a little boogie in it, So with that being said, guys, I've been going around since I've been appointed and before that in this community, going out and talking to people, getting the understanding, hey, what's going on in Stony Brook? Marcus, we need this. What's going on in Eastwood? Marcus, we need this. What's going on in North Oaks and in the avenues? Hey, we have these challenges. How can we fix these things? So the current city council right now has things that's in place, and they're working on things, but we also can always get better. We can, with the new mayor that's coming in, we can lock arms and figure out, hey, what we got going on and how we plan to get better. And how we plan to get better is transparency. How we can make the app that we have to let us know with weather's coming. Hey, we can also, right now, we know that everyone now, if you're going to search me, Marcus Green, they're probably going to go right now, Facebook, right? So right now, if you want to know what's going on with Jacksonville, let's go to the app that we have. And we can figure out on the app what are the great things that the public safety we're doing. How can we make ourselves better? How can we improve ourselves? And I think that's built off relationships. And now, if I shook your hand and look in your eyes, I got 30 seconds left. Within those 30 seconds, say, hey, my name is Marcus Green. How can I help you? Marcus, how can we get these speed bumps over here? I don't know, but let me go find out. Try to be a connector and be a conduit. So from what the people need to what we can do, all within these guidelines. So August 26th, City Council Place 5, please vote for Marcus Green. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Thank you to all of our candidates for the Jacksonville City Council. We will now transition to the mayoral portion of the forum. If we could have our 3 mayoral candidates please come to the front of the room. What's the name? Yes, up there. Sorry. So 1 will be to the left, 2 in the middle, then 3 furthest to the right. So on y'all's side, that would be.
Assuming everybody can hear us? No?
Push, there you go. No, you have to keep it.
Oh, I have to hold it the whole time I talk. Okay.
All right. So, again, thank you, everyone, for being here. We are about to begin the mayoral portion of the forum. The chamber gathers questions for this portion of the candidate forum from the constituents of the candidates. A subcommittee of the Public Affairs Committee vetted and determined the questions that are most interesting and most pertinent to the constituency. We understand that there may be many issues that voters are interested in hearing from the candidates about, but for the sake of time, we had to be prudent in our choices. So the rules of this forum are as follows. The positions of seating have been determined by drawing numbers, with number 1 being the first seat on the left of the audience, and number 2 to the right, number 3 even further to the right. The questions will begin with seat number 1 and will rotate in numerical order. So number 1 will begin the first question, number 2 the second, and so on. The questions will be read once to all candidates. Subsequent candidates should make notes of the questions and be prepared. Chamber has provided pen and paper for notes. In order to ensure the most time for the audience to hear the candidates' thoughts, we ask that you please refrain from asking to repeat the questions unless it is absolutely necessary. The candidate will be given 2 minutes to answer. A warning of 30 seconds will be given by signal. Upon expiration of the time, the moderator will interrupt you nicely and thank you for your response, and then immediately move on to the next candidate. If a candidate's time expires and they have continued speaking, they will be given a formal warning, and if this is repeated, the candidate may be asked to leave the forum at the moderator's discretion. If an opposing candidate mentions the other candidate by name as a challenge of position, at the moderator's discretion, the named candidate will be given 1 minute to respond. If any interruption is made by a candidate when another candidate is on the clock, the candidate who made the interruption will be given one warning and will be asked to leave the forum upon the second offense. The candidates will be given 3 minutes for a closing statement at the end of the question portion. All of the candidates have been supplied with these rules and have agreed to abide by them. Thank you for being here, and let us begin the mayoral portion of the event. So from left to right, we have Mr. Tony Taylor, Mr. Mark Jones, and Miss Lori Humphreys. So we will now begin the questions. Question 1. For the last several years, the university and the city have had a strong collaborative relationship. As mayor, what would be your strategy to maintain and continue to grow that relationship? Starting with Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Jacob. You're right. It seems like at times that us and Jack State are working separately, but there's a lot of times that we are doing a collaborative type effort. We've got a lot of things that we've started to do. We started Town and Gown again. Town and Gown had been an activity that we had that both the council or the city and the college met quarterly to just discuss outcomes and things that's going on and things to do that what's possibly in the future. It's just a good kind of update so everyone can be on the same page. We are in the process of building a new fire station. That is probably one of the biggest, I think, one of the collaborative efforts that we've had with Jack State, the north part of town. The architect should be closing and getting probably the next couple of weeks and should have plans ready to go out for bid soon. So that's what we'd like to see. We'd like to see that partnership, probably even a deeper partnership, in my opinion. There could be times that we both have our ideas and our goals and our direction, but I believe there's times that we miss out the bigger picture. And I think as moving forward, if I'm mayor, I would like to be that more of a shared effort in, whether you're talking about the CD or Jack State, we can't operate without each other. And until when we get to know that and really hold hands and figure that out, I think Jackson will be a much better place to live.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Jones?
Yes, before I answer that question, I would like for everyone to give a round of applause for all these candidates over here and these 2 candidates up here for having the guts and the courage to run for city government. That's a great question, one that I get asked many times while I'm walking down the streets because of my relationship with Jacksonville State University. Some people look at it as a disadvantage for me, but I look at it as a big-time advantage. I've worked with the university. I've worked there for 32 years. I was a student before that, graduated and got my master's at Jacksonville State. I know how the relationship is with the university. I know how the university works. I was also on the city council for 8 years, president of the city council for 4 of those years. And Mr. Taylor brought up about the town and gown. We used to do it once a year. We would have everybody, all the departments would get together from both the university and the city and meet for breakfast one day. Well, I worked with Dr. Meehan on getting it started to where we had a quarterly meeting of town and gown. We talked about the different events, the way that the university and the city could cooperate and work together. I always use the extreme example. Instead of both the city and the university buying a snowplow, we could just buy one and both of us could use it when we needed to use it. Of course, that's an extreme example. I would never buy a snowplow. But my relationship with the university will be a very positive in being able to work together with Dr. Killing's work. And if I were mayor, elected as mayor, my goal would be the city first, without a doubt. But the city's only going to strive when the university strives. The university's going to strive when the city strives. And we both have to work together to bring both of them into the future and make this town a great place to live that it is already. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Ms. Humphries?
So first, no offense, Mr. Jacob, but it's Laura Humphries, for those of you who don't know me, but I just see lots of faces that I know. Actually, a lot of you have served, literally served, here in this city. I think this is probably the most profound question that we need to be addressing, because to be honest, we share the same geography. There is no Jacksonville without Jacksonville State University. There's no Jacksonville State University without Jacksonville, Alabama. This is a partnership that needs to be strengthened. There have been great strides made. Let me just go ahead and call out the elephant in the room as well. I am not from here. I think I'm the only person that is running who is not born and raised here in Jacksonville, if not very close to Jacksonville. So I think that gives me a unique sense of perspective. My background, I have a background in education, and so I do believe that education is the key to many of the challenges we face within the city. And I think that Jacksonville State University is an asset that has to be looked at as such. When I got here, I heard lots of things about that there's been problems, there's been these things. Well, I'll be honest, I don't have that background, I don't have that knowledge. I think we start fresh, and I'm super excited for that. But even more than that, people can no longer say, just let the college be the college, because we are in USA Today, number 3 in USA Today, not Alabama Today, not Calhoun County Today, USA Today, as the number 3 college, small college town. And so we need to captivate that and build on that energy and use that to help each other be successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Question 2, starting with Mr. Jones. And following up on our last question, the city and university already coordinate in some areas such as public safety. As mayor, what other opportunities do you see for the city and university to work together to avoid duplication, save taxpayer money, or improve how public services are delivered to residents and students?
Thank you for that question. Well, first off, public safety, it should be the number 1 priority of any government on any level, but especially on the local level. And with the university and the city, they have always worked well together on every aspect, fire, police, and you mentioned one thing about resources. There's a need sometimes at the university to where we need additional resources from the city, and we've always had that. Our 2 chiefs work very well together. There's times when the city needs additional resources from the university, and we provide that. I remember Dr. Mann and myself walking where the new fire station is going to go over on the university. We walked in those, what was woods before the tornado came through, and already picked out that location, and it was going to be built. And one thing about government, you got to jump through a lot of hoops to get things done. And as mayor, I want us to decrease all of those little barriers that we have and make things easier. But on working together with the university on public safety, I think we've got a good model right now, and we would work with the university to maintain that role with both the city and the university.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Ms. Humphries?
I think the best way that we can stop redundancy within both of these entities is really to have a good offense. The best defense is a good offense. So I think we have to go into this knowing what we're needing, knowing what the other one is needing, and having conversations before it becomes an emergency situation. So having conversations early on that establish what are we looking to accomplish this school year, this semester, this fiscal year. And I think that that has to happen in so many different levels. And I think that that can't happen on a one-day kind of event. This has to be a real partnership. That means we are going to be talking regularly. We need to be seen. Like, there shouldn't be events where the city is not there for university events, and universities should be at city events. We have got students who are spending years here that we are investing in, whether we know it or not. As a city, we are investing in these students, and they leave here and they sometimes don't look back. That can no longer happen. We have an asset that we need to capitalize on. We need to make this a space that these kids say, you know what? I do think we're top 3 in the country of small locations, small college towns. And it's so much so that I want to put my roots here, and I want to give back to where I've been. It's called an alma mater because it's your other mother. We are sending these kids out, and as mom, that really breaks my heart because I see what has happened. I've seen these children, these young people who have great ideas, and I think we can capitalize on the innovation, the technology. We can leverage that. We've got infrastructure things that together we can accomplish bigger things. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Humphries. Mr. Taylor?
Yes, I believe the not working together is a misperception. There's a lot of things that work on day to day that just goes unnoticed because that's just part of the operating procedure. I know our police chief and chief at Jack State, they communicate a couple times a week, every week, just to check up on things. The relationship the fire department has with that running EMS services and fire calls works well together. So we mentioned public safety and what the relationship is. I think it's just that people don't understand that that relationship is there. It is tight-minded because we realize without it, it doesn't work. As I said before, without this relationship, things aren't working as well as they do. And I think that's sometimes when people look at it, they don't see all the working like a duck. You know, they're paddling really quick underneath that water. They're doing such a great job above the water. It doesn't realize how much effort's been put into it. So I would just keep moving on, moving forward with progress with the college and the city.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Moving on to question 3, starting with Ms. Humphries. Last year, the city instituted a 6-month moratorium on multifamily developments to study the effects of growth on the city infrastructure. As a mayoral candidate, do you believe that the moratorium was appropriate? And under what conditions, if any, would you consider similar measures in the future to manage growth? And how would you ensure this doesn't compromise Jacksonville's pro-growth reputation?
Well, I'll be honest, there's a lot of things that I am not an expert on. And so I will not tell you something that I can't say, I know this for a fact. I do know that it is important, again, partnerships with Jacksonville State University. We have to partner with other entities. We have to partner with our other colleagues that I see in the audience as well, the other cities, the other municipalities, the other people that are part of the greater Calhoun County area, because we all depend on each other. I think that this brings up the situation that I can speak on, that our infrastructure is in desperate need of some help. It is very obvious, if you come north on 21 and you hit that car wash and there's been any rain, you're gonna hit Lake Jacksonville that's there for the period of time that the rain takes to dissipate. So I think we have to be careful. I mean, like, I'm not a huge fan of moratorium, so to speak. I think we have to have conversations, and that happens with people, the voters, the constituents of this community feel that they have vested interest and that they are heard, and that those happen on a regular basis. I think that we do have to keep in mind that we are a specific type of community. This is a college town. These children need places to live, and so I think we have to look at some of the ordinances we have and say maybe they served us well at one point, maybe they continue to serve, but maybe we need to look at them and maybe reassess. They might need to be tweaked, or maybe it's time for them to not be part of what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Humphries. Mr. Taylor?
Yes, sir. That's, just so everyone knows, that 6-month moratorium lasted maybe 4 weeks. And the gist of it all what came up is that we were worried about infrastructure. We had not only the build a 500-room facility, and not to be real graphic, but we want to make sure when everyone flushed their toilet at the same time, that capacity was taken care of. We found out the answer to that fairly quickly, and we moved forward with that. You know, we're not anti-growth. We're anti-safety and infrastructure because, like most small towns, our infrastructure is aging. And there's things that we'll have to look at in the future to make sure that we stay ahead of it. And that's all that was. That was to stay ahead of that learning curve, so to speak. So we knew that everything would work out fine if we developed, you know, another 1,000 bed facility. So that we found that out pretty quickly. So that moratorium didn't last probably less than a month.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Jones?
You know, moratoriums, I think that you should always slow down and study things that's going to be happening and look for any unintended consequences that you're going to have, like flushing the toilets. And sometimes you have to slow down and do a moratorium, but you don't necessarily have to call it a moratorium. You just slow down and you look at it before you approve anything. But the market usually takes care of itself on balancing out all that stuff. Whether it was good or not, it probably was, because again, you need to look at things and make sure that you're not going to have any unintended consequences before you do it. And that's part of planning and development. And in Jacksonville, we do that. Like Ms. Humphrey said, though, there are some things that we need to look at on our rules and regulations of that, and see if we can do things to make it more feasible for people to want to come to Jacksonville and build.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Moving on to question 4, starting with Mr. Taylor. How would you balance fiscal responsibility in the city's budgeting process while continuing to invest in growth, safety, and essential services? And where do you believe the city's highest priority investments should be made?
Thank you for that. We've been blessed over the last 8 years. Jacksonville's revenues has increased every year. And in 2025, we actually increased over 12%. That was the most of anyone in the county. Not saying our 12% increase was as much as Oxford's 5% increase, but still the percentage increase was more. And we just need to do more of that. All you have to do is look around and see the progress that we made. Go back in time to 2016. The blight of buildings that were, you know, a grocery store and the auto repair place that was just literally falling down. And now look at what you have. And we just need to be able to move forward that and continue that thought, be pro-business, be open to listen to people's wants and needs. Now, we don't have total control. I know we people get upset when too many coffee shops or too many car washes. You know, when someone comes in and buys that piece of property, if they meet the rules and regs, there's no way we can really stop them from putting what type of business they want in there. But so you don't want to over-govern. You like things just kind of have, you know, organically take care of itself. But there should be some times in there that you can look at that and make sure what's coming is best for the city. We've got plans for a new 76-bed Fairfield Inn Suites that's still been approved, still ready to go. That, in my opinion, is going to be one of the largest economic turns for Jacksonville in a very long time, because it keeps people in Jacksonville. We what we call bleed revenue when they have to go to other places to stay overnight. So that's what we want to do. We want to keep that momentum going. We've got excellent momentum. Listen, all you have to do is look around and try to move forward and keep that momentum going.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Jones?
Well, first off, our 10-cent sales tax, we do not need to go up any more on that for fiscal responsibility. But this ties into the very first question with the university. The more that the university grows, the more students that we get, the more people that we have in Jacksonville. We get more people going to our local businesses. With the new hotel that's coming in, we're able to have more activities at Jacksonville State and within the city, and have people stay in Jacksonville instead of going to Oxford to stay and eat. They can stay in Jacksonville. And so the fiscal responsibility, Mayor Smith has done a great job on as Dr. Montgomery used to tell me, Mayor Smith is one of those that likes to spend both sides of the nickel. But you have to have growth in order to have fiscal responsibility. And we want more people to stay in Jacksonville instead of going to Oxford and other places, because that's revenue. Then we also have to plan for the future and building things like new schools, new safety complexes, and have that plan in advance versus all of a sudden having to come up with $15 million. If you plan for the future, you're able to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Ms. Humphries.
I think that when you're talking about fiscal budgeting, let me back up so that some of you don't know my background. I have a very diverse background. I was in education, I've worked in the public sector, I've worked in the private sector, I've been an entrepreneur. So I have a whole plethora of skills that kind of come into this. And I think that when we're talking about fiscal budgeting, I think that for me, and if you want to get me real passionate, and I may not have to have my microphone if I start talking too much on what community means, because that's why I'm here. Let's be honest. Community is what is important, and if we don't focus on that, none of this will matter. So this community deserves an opportunity to have their voices heard beyond just one day on a vote. We need to be able to have communication that happens as a two-way street. I understand that we have council meetings, and I think that is a great opportunity for people to get involved, but that is not where conversation, two-way conversation happens. And so we have to find some meaningful ways and opportunities to include those people who are part of this community. Not that we'll be part of, but it's your tax dollars. It's our tax dollars. We all should have some say and some a voice in how this is spent. So we have to budget properly to begin with. But I think there's some room in there for us to have some conversation about what do we see as the priority. I do feel that infrastructure is our main priority right now because, as we're saying, there is growth coming. You don't have to look hard to see the growth is coming, and we do not. Again, the best defense is a good offense. So we need to be ahead of this and be planning for what's coming and be prepared with our infrastructure for the new things coming, as well as what we already have here right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Humphries. Moving on to question 5, beginning with Mr. Jones. What role should regional collaboration play in Jacksonville's long-term strategy, and how would you, as mayor, strengthen those partnerships to support growth and economic development in the city?
I'm not real sure that I understood the question. Regional growth and strategies?
Collaboration.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think that I think the city does a good job working with the county. Lee Patterson does a great job as our county representative. I think that we work well with our state government. I know that when I served on the council, we worked well with Del Marsh when we did an annexation project. So you have to work with those county and state governments in order to get a lot of things done. You even have to be able to, we mentioned grants earlier, you have to be able to do the grants on the national level. So we need to work with our congressmen and our senators in order to get grants that allow us to do things for the infrastructure that we talked about. We've got a grant currently that the city has got for our sewer systems. So those things are critical. Beyond that, I think that we need to work well with the cities around us by the same token. We talked about the hospital situation a lot, and I don't have any magic dust up here that I can get one in, but I know how to get people in the same room together and have that prioritized to where you work tremendously on that to get that done. For an example of working regionally in this, Piedmont's just down the road. Piedmont's in need of the same thing. I know in Marshall County, the cities up there work together on their medical services to have a north and a south hospital. We might could do something like that with Piedmont to get more people. That would also help us create the need to have that emergency freestanding emergency room. So you have to work with those other entities in order to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Ms. Humphries.
collaboration with other municipalities is not just a good thing, it's a necessity. We have to do that. We potentially worked as silos, and so when we work together, a win for Oxford, a win for Anniston is really a win for Jacksonville. Highway 21 connects us all together. And so people who are coming from Oxford are coming into Jacksonville. We are bringing people in through this university. I think that we have a very unique situation that hasn't been talked about much. We have an airport in our region that has great potential to do some big things for this area. And the university, my goodness, we are educators. We have an opportunity to set up some people there to be working in the in-flight capacities to help out. But that's going to require early conversations with Anniston, with Oxford, because that is a unique situation there, because it's under one entity, but it resides in another entity. So again, when we think that we're the only people that are affected by things, then I think that we are doing a disservice not only to Jacksonville, but to the community, because as well, not everybody that calls Jacksonville home lives within the city limits. We have a lot of people who are on outlying areas, and they're just as important to this conversation as the people who live within the city limits.
Thank you, Ms. Humphries. Mr. Taylor?
Talking about regional commitment, I guess I was really blessed in the profession I was in. I was fire chief at the city of Anniston. Worked there for over 31 years. So we knew early on that you had to collaborate with other departments to service your needs for this, like you said, the main thoroughfare 21. It was nothing more than picking up the phone and saying, we need help with this, that, and the other, and we're all willing to help. And that's that community effort to show that it's a bigger picture, that it's not about only us. We're not selfish, that show it's only us. It's you get tied up, I guess we all get tied up talking about I did this and I did that, but it's a we. I always like to look at a we type effort. We made this accomplish. This made this work. Next week I have to attend a meeting about Ladiga Trail. Now that Anniston's involved in Ladiga Trail, they're getting meetings together, and so it's more overall unified to work the trail. So each individual city's kind of doing their own. I don't know where that would go, but that's probably that regional growth and regional atmosphere or regional thoughts. And I think that's what it is. It's a thought process that has to change. Thought process is it can't be all about us, because we can't be an island by ourselves, because we'll falter and fail. If we don't get along with others and work well with others, we just won't exist.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Moving to our sixth and final question tonight, starting with Ms. Humphries. If you had to choose only one issue that you believe is most pressing for Jacksonville right now, what would it be, and what would you do as mayor to address it?
Again, now you're going to get me to turn this microphone off, because I believe that community, this sense of community, the sense of belonging and being part of this process is really what is probably our biggest issue, and it will solve so many other things. People need to feel seen, be heard, and be valued in order to be part of things. We have to change from a consumer type of community to a contributor community. When people feel that they're part of something, my goodness, they take some ownership. They start to clean up things. They start saying, hey, you know what, I've got some skills and I want to contribute to the greater good of the people that I call family and friends in my community. So I think it seems simple, but I feel like that really digging into what makes Jacksonville, what brought me here, was this sense of you drive down the street, somebody's waving at you. If you have something going on, somebody's going to come and help you out. So I don't want to change what Jacksonville is. I want to enhance who we are and bring more people into it. So I really feel like right now what we got to do is build a bigger table and bring more people into the conversations.
Thank you, Ms. Humphries. Mr. Taylor?
I have to agree, Laura. It's all about the people. It's all about you guys. It's about the constituents. It's about how we bring everyone to the table. How do we get people engaged and involved? I've said several times when we have council meetings that usually when you have a group like this, they're angry at us. So it gets kind of, try to keep it so it's not confrontational, but that's what this government's about. And if you're a mayor or a council, it's your job to listen to people, whether they're excited or happy about what you're doing or not. That's that open door policy that you've got to listen to people, let them express their opinions. I wish every council meeting we have was a crowd just like this. happy crowd, not necessarily, not trying to lynch us, but, a happy crowd trying to move forward with things. It's just, Jacksonville's on the right track and doing a lot of good things. We just have to continue that, but we need people to help us. It needs to be that we again. I can't do anything without the help of others, and so I need your help. The council, whomever the next mayor is, whoever the next council members are, they need your help to make this city grow and prosper.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Jones?
Well, you phrased the question as if you had only one issue that is a priority. Well, I remember in my biology class in high school, the teacher said she always had discussion questions, and she was the most difficult teacher in the school. She said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And so the quality of life would be the number one issue. And that encompasses a whole range of factors. I think if you focus on one issue, you're gonna miss something. But one of my top priorities, as well as everybody has mentioned, is a freestanding emergency room and healthcare facility. So that would be a top priority, but it can't be the only issue that you have. If you don't have public safety, you're really gonna need an emergency room if you don't have public safety. So you can't just focus on that one thing, but it's just the quality of life, the recreation, the school system, and then everything that both of these people have said and all those wonderful people down there have said. There's a lot of things. You can't just have a one priority.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. We're going to move now into our closing statements, starting with Mr. Taylor. Remember, candidates will get 3 minutes for the closing statements.
Thank you, Jay. And once again, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Great crowd. Thank for all those who are willing to put their time, effort, and money into running for the city council. They have, whether they want it or not, they have my respect for even trying to do this, because it's not always a thankful job. So I do appreciate them trying to put their spin. Everyone has different aspects of their life. Everyone can different skill sets. So I think that's what everyone wants to do. They want to put their specific skill sets in to make Jacksonville better. With other things being said, Jacksonville's a great place. I moved here 19 years ago when I married my wife Renee. And this town embraced me as a born son, I guess. I don't know. I was always surprised. Growing up on the other side of town, I didn't have a lot to do with Jack State early on. So it was kind of foreign to me when I moved here. But it was the people and the love and the compassion and just, the welcoming of what I consider me to being a stranger to this town. And that's what I'd like to be able to give back. I'd like to give back to that. Saying I do a good job of that all the time? No, I don't. That's something I need to work on constantly to make myself better so I can make the city a better place to live and work and play. One of the things we try to do, and I don't think there's some things we may have faltered at, it's that the quality of life issues. We have tried to add playground equipment to Eastwood. We've tried to clean up Germania Springs. We've got the walking track here, the extension there. We have the pond that was needed some work to make the pond a feasible place to meet and gather. So I think we've done that. And then once again, some of that economic development we had, the economic growth, revenue growth we've had, that allowed us to pave some streets through other grants with state and federal funding and local funding from the county commission, allowed us to pave some streets. I think Mr. Jones mentioned another grant for some of the infrastructure. I think we're real close to having all the pipe for being removed, and that's a big thing. We got a large grant for that. So once again, I would just ask you all to really look and see, or I won't say that we're better off, but is the city better off than it was in 2016? Once again, things can be better, things can be improved, but I think it's our fault if we don't want to continually improve. Even when we think we have it great, wonderful, and we can sit back and relax, I think that's the falsehood. You need to always be willing to progress and move forward. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Jones?
First off, I think that one question that I get a lot that I wish people would quit asking any of our candidates is, who are you running against? I'm not running against anybody. I'm running for the mayor position of Jacksonville because I want to serve this community. I'm not running against these two wonderful people. I'm running for the mayor position. And I feel like that I have the background to best represent you as your mayor. For instance, industry. Goes back kind of into that earlier question. Utilizing the university to bring in industry here, that's one of the ways Honda came to Lincoln. They tied with the university. We, as Jacksonville, really need to utilize that. The university already does a lot of things now in training for OSHA and safety at the university with businesses that we have. So utilizing that. I'm originally from Gunnersville, Alabama. I came to school here in 1978, had the privilege to work for Coach Bill Jones in the basketball program, and I grew from there. And I fell in love with this city. The rest of my family is all in Gunnersville. They keep asking me, when are you coming back home? When are you coming back home? Well, I am home. Jacksonville is home now after 78. I don't know how many years that is. I don't even want to count them up. But I worked at the university for 32 years. I served in leadership roles. I served as the judicial coordinator at the university. I've been an official in officiating for 40-something years. And I'm going to tell you, and Marcus can vouch for this, officiating prepares you for life more than just about anything else that you do. You have people yelling at you constantly, and you're still out there treating the game fair. And that's another thing that I think that's a quality of mine. You can't treat people equal, but you can always treat people fairly. Everybody's a little different. You know, coaches, they have some players that they can yell at and get something out of them. They have some of them they have to be very nice to. So, but you can always treat people fairly. I want to listen to you. As they mentioned, one of the things I did when I became president of the council, I changed our structure to where instead of having citizen comments on things that we're fixing to vote on, used to be at the end after we've already voted on them, I moved those to the first of the meeting so we could hear their concerns before we vote. So I want to listen to everybody. I've got a lot of background in leadership roles, and I would be honored to get your vote on August 26th.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Ms. Humphries?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that I'm very honored to be in the shared space. Thank you for listening to a very nervous individual. I don't normally get nervous, and I have no problem talking to people one-on-one, but this is a little, good job, guys, because this is a little intimidating, especially when things are coming at you and you're like, I got no, those guys, I love you guys, but you guys had notes. We didn't get notes. My goodness. So, again, this has been an honor. I just want you to know, like, I am Laura Humphries. I am going to be Laura Humphries on August 26th, on August 27th, regardless of what happens. I know who I am. I know whose I am. I am thankful for my family who has supported me. I am thankful for this community who has loved me. Although I am not a born son or born daughter, you guys have welcomed me. And I, in response to that, feel like I have invested personally in this community, in time, in money, in resources, and in friendships. And I think what we have to do is look at the couple things that are kind of the low-hanging fruit. JSU, we have got to continue to strengthen that relationship. We got to look at how we can help each other out. Education is key for so many things. I have that background that I love to build bridges to get people from one side to the other. So, like, how do we do that? I think we have to look at our infrastructure and make sure that not only are we ready for what we have now, but are we preparing for 5-10 years down the road? I think, again, we've got to build this community to where our neighbors say, hey, you know what? I want to be part of that. I want to come to Jacksonville. I want to be part of council. I want to be part of, this is what democracy looks like. What a great thing. How good is it for Jacksonville to have so many people who are willing to step up and who are willing to give of themselves, because this is hard. To be fair, I want to be completely transparent. I have not spent a lot of money on campaigning into things because I just felt that was not a very good use of my time. I'm more about relationship than an advertisement. I am an open book. I don't have anything other than my Facebook, my phone number. If you don't know how to get in touch with me, just Google it and you can find me, I promise, you'll see me around. But I do think that our responsibility is to make sure that every person in this community feels seen, heard, and valued. And I am here to listen. I promise you, I'm going to not just be part of the solution, I'm going to be working. I will put on my muck boots and we'll get to work. And I am going to believe wholeheartedly, regardless of the outcome, in the power of this community. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Humphries. And thank you all for your participation tonight, and to all of the candidates for offering themselves to serve their community. Now let's give them a big round of applause real quick. We would like to remind everyone that the city will hold a meet and greet with candidates on Sunday, July 27th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Public Square Park, and we would encourage everyone to attend that event. And that concludes tonight's event, so thank you all. God bless.
Keep these a little book?
Yes, you may.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.